Hey, MTS crew, what is going on, y'all? I hope it's all good in the neighborhood. Y'all, I'm getting ready to make a classic yellow cake mix. This box of cake mix only costs 99 cents, but we're going to take this cake mix to a different level. We're going to do a bourbon cake. This is going to be absolutely delicious. You don't have to work your finger to the bones this holiday. So go ahead and get your items and let's make this cake. So this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a yellow cake mix. A lot of people have brands that they like to use, and I do too, but I've tried this brand and it came from Aldi. So we're going to use it. It's good. We're going to use, instead of the oil, we're going to use butter and eggs. Instead of 3 eggs, like the recipe calls for, we on the back of the box, we're going to use 4 eggs. And the milk, the water, we're going to use my favorite, buttermilk. Also vanilla flavor, 1 box of banana cream filling from Jello. You can use the banana cream, or you can go ahead and use the vanilla. One, I'm sorry, this is about 2 tablespoons of bourbon, a little over, pecans. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and get this cake going. And I promise you it's going to come out beautiful and it's going to be absolutely delicious. You will not believe it. So after we finish with this, go on out and get this cake mix and make this cake. It's going to be good, y'all. Let's take it to the stove. Okay, y'all, I have my cake mix in. I'm going to put my box of Jello instant pudding. This happens to be the banana, and they have different flavors. You can do the vanilla. So what I like about this cake, you don't have to add 1 egg at a time. You don't have to do that. I'm going to go ahead and put everything in here all at once. So there's my 4 eggs. There's my butter. Okay. There's my buttermilk. We're going to let this mix. Okay, now y'all, I'm going to go ahead and add my pure vanilla. Teaspoon. Now they usually put vanilla in these cakes, but I feel like it's just not enough. So we're going to go in with about a teaspoon of vanilla in there. And you also, I like to mix my vanilla and my flavorings. I like to mix this in with my milk, and I didn't do it this time, but usually I'll mix it in with my milk. Okay, here's our bourbon. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay, now let's let it mix. Smells delicious. We're going to stop it, take our spatula, and push everything down. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and lift it back up, lock it. So we're going to let this slow beat for a minute, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go ahead and put cooking spray in our pan. Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and spray our pan. You can butter this pan real good and oil it real good and put flour, but I found that the cooking spray works just as good for me. And the reason I use it because it's so easy to get into these cake pans. See all those little grooves? So I just make sure I spray it real good. And if whenever I bake a cake in this pan, it's an easy release. Okay. We have pecan pieces. We're going to use about a half a cup of pecan pieces. Okay. Now we're gonna go ahead and spoon our batter in, not to disturb those pecan pieces. Now, this is a real thick batter. It's almost like a pound cake batter. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this in and get it filled up. And we're gonna put this cake in the oven, 350 degrees for 30 minutes, or until you put your toothpick in and your toothpick come out with no batter on it. That's how you're gonna know it's done. So let's go ahead and get this filled. Okay, y'all. A lot more batter left for the people who like to lick the spoon. Okay, so we're just gonna make sure we got this in here all even. And y'all, if y'all don't feel like making cakes from scratch, you can just make your box cakes taste like store-bought cakes. I love making cakes from scratch, but I'm just showing you, if you don't want to, you can go ahead and get you a box cake and make it taste just as good. Okay, let's get it even and get the bubbles out. Okay, ready to go in the stove. Okay, y'all, our cake is out of the oven. I'm gonna let it sit in this pan until the pan is cool to the touch, and then I'll turn it over in my cake plate. Box cake. Doesn't it look like a pound cake to you all? So while it's cooling, let's get our glaze going. Okay, y'all, this is going to be just an easy, simple glaze. So what I'm going to add is, I have 2 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of bourbon. Okay, we're going to mix this up and let it sit. We're not going to need a whole lot of this. And if you want your mixture, your glaze a little darker, just brown your butter on the stove. Just use brown butter, and that's how you brown your butter. Just go ahead and brown it, not until burnt, but until brown, and use that brown butter. Okay, this is my glaze for my cake. Oh, I forgot, y'all. A half a teaspoon of vanilla flavor, just a little. Okay. There we go. And if you want to thin this out more, just go ahead and use a little milk to thin it out. Now I'm going to let this sit while my cake is cooling. Now this is the cake plate that I'm going to use. It said that night changed everything. I use this every Christmas. This is specially made, and this is my Christmas tin cake plate. Love it. Okay, the cake has been glazed and ready. I put a few nuts around the side, and you know I have the nuts on top. This cake is going to be delicious and fluffy. So you all go on and try that box cake, 99 cents, y'all. We balling on a budget for Christmas. So let's go ahead and get some of these cheap cake mixes and add our own touch to them. Then voila, you have a beautiful, delicious cake. You know, we just added extra milk. When we added milk, we added vanilla flavor, eggs instead of 4 eggs. Instead of 3 eggs, we added 4 eggs. And instead of the oil, we added butter. And instead of the water, we added milk. So let's take a taste of this cake, y'all. See how nice and fluffy and how it bounced back. This cake is good, y'all. So let's take a bite and see how this cake tastes. I am excited, and this is going to be a beautiful addition also to your Christmas dinner. Absolutely delicious, y'all. And it didn't take any time. You didn't have to worry about using your sugars because this cake already have the sugar in it. The only sugar I used was that white sugar, and I used that, the confession sugar, I used that on top of the cake. And you know, if you have a little extra, a couple of eggs or some buttermilk or sweet milk, just add it to that box cake mix. So let's take a bite of it and see how it tastes. Absolutely delicious, y'all. Absolutely delicious. Please like, share, and subscribe this video. I really would appreciate it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And these are just ideas that I'm trying to get out to where people will not have to spend a whole lot of money on cake, pies, or anything. I have a delicious pie coming up. Bon appetit. God bless.